been kind of hit or miss over this last bit, but that's okay. Thank you guys for tuning in on Saturday. That was a fun little show that we got to do for you guys there. So we're going to stay with the same theme though, because we are pushing into the new year. So let's just keep working on what we need to do internally to better fix ourselves coming into this new year, so that way we can push into the new year with a better feeling inside of our lives and better feeling inside of ourselves. So we'll do another one of these shadow work pulls for the collective here, and we're just going to see what's going on and see what we kind of need to work on here. Seems kind of like a good one. So go ahead and we'll pull. Pull for the collective here and see. Wants me to drop a bomb on you. What else do we need to get for the collective here? That came out in reverse, so you guys see those? Forgot needles. Okay, so we have hold your inner child and speak what's true. So hold your inner child means that hold your just what it sounds like. A lot of people are not holding their inner child anymore. A lot of people are repressing their inner child and staying too focused on working too hard and not actually being inside of themselves. And then speak what's true, an authentic voice and unblocking. So speaking what's true, that's speak the truth. Don't embellish the truth. That's basically telling people to stop fucking lying. Stop talking about things you don't know anything about. Or when you do, speak what's true. Don't make something up to fit your own reality. Because that will free yourself up from not having to deal with the lie and the persecution that comes on the back end of it. Those are real strong cards right there. So let's see. Ooh. So surveillance in reverse. That means it's been going on for a long time. And it happens to men and women. Right? Couples. It says couple, but I'm going to define that as men and women. Just because of how we're reading the introspection of this and because of the regret that they hold. So why? Because you're too worried about what people are going to think if you let your inner child out. This goes for everybody. And if you're not speaking your truth, you end up putting yourself in regret. Because you're too worried about what people think. That's why this came out in reverse. Because you're so worried about what everybody thinks. That's why this came out in reverse. So worried about what everybody thinks. And you're living in regret because you won't speak your truth. all fits. That makes sense. Because you get social media on the bottom. We talked a little bit about that. And then you get a gift. So, because you're doing all this, you're bypassing gifts that are left behind for you. Because you won't do these things. You won't heal yourself enough to let your inner child come out. You won't speak your truth about what's really going on. You're so worried about what everybody's going to think about you that you're starting to live in regret. And because you're living in so much regret, you're not going to get the gifts that were left behind from your elders, from your ancestors. That's why this is grandparents. And in reverse, so left behind, because they're no longer around anymore. But if you do heal that inner child, start loving yourself, start speaking your truth, rather than trying to divulge it and put it in some other way, shape, or form. Stop trying to perform for everybody that's out there, so that way you can actually get through the regret you're living in and receive the gifts that are meant to be given to you. No matter what people want to think on social media. No matter what you want to think. Yeah, you're diminishing your own power supply. Because of the dark stuff you're doing. It's almost starting to look like organized crime. So just be lucky that you're still alive at this point and with a heartbeat, is what they're saying. Almost like it's turning into a crime of passion at this point. That somebody's going to end up getting hurt over pretty bad. And it keeps going on inside of rooms. But your money's running out. Life insurance policy, you're probably going to end up having to cash that damn thing in, but you're going to get caught for fraud when you do. Just saying. So as you heal this stuff up and you get through all of it, you're going to stop seeing that overreacting going on. You're going to stop seeing that flooding in and that panicking, right? Which would be really nice. What else will they get? And they heal everything, get it all said and done. What is the overall outcome for what the collective will see? You'll no longer feel the need to be right. Wouldn't that be a cool feeling, collective? To get rid of that feeling to always have to be right inside of all your conversations. To actually admit you don't know. To release that cycle so that way you don't have to argue about it anymore. Don't have to fear losing it, fear loss of control. Just letting the people know, yeah. Says it's right there again. Thank the wound. Thank the wound that was created. So, I'm going to let you guys go. There's a couple different messages inside of there. Hopefully you picked up on them. Hopefully you saw both sides of it. Hopefully you guys watched all the way through. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. If it's too long, maybe I'll cut it down and make it a two-parter. See how that one works out. Sometimes I end up forgetting to post them though, so that's pretty funny. So we will see you guys here coming up this week. Have a great day.